I can remember when I was little, I had this thought of like this image. I was always like super sure that I would get like a good physique. Like I would be very strong. I have this image of like what I would imagine when I was little, and I would imagine like myself with like a ton of like big muscles, and I had like a hot girl like next to me in my image. I just remember that. So I can always like think back and remember that I always knew I was gonna do something great eventually. I was gonna like achieve high levels of things. I was gonna be the best in whatever area I wanted to do. I think a lot of people don't have that. Like if you're watching this video and you kind of relate to me, you probably are more towards that side than most people. Like I think most people don't really have the same like just innate drive to succeed as certain people. I think there's like some type of like predisposition you get or something that makes you, it could be like more negative emotions. I think I heard something about this which was it's something you're going towards. You have a very strong desire to get something and a very strong desire to get away from something and good impulse control. Those are like the three traits of successful people, from what I heard. So it's like I think it was like narcissism or something like that, or like almost like deluded belief that you're like better than people or you deserve more, I guess. So that's the first one. The second one is like high in negative emotion. So like you're like very discontented with your current situation or like your experiences and the current moment. So it's like something you're really trying to get away from, something you really want, and then impulse control meaning you're not gonna like, you know, at every single impulse you're not gonna like go on TikTok or something like that. It could be something like that, basically. So if you have this drive, and you're similar to me, you kind of know we're not really gonna be like content with the whole like normal, you know, the whole normal thing. Like I think some people are fine with that. Like you probably have friends like this. Some people, and it could be, I don't know, it could be you if you're, I don't know if you're inclined that way, I guess. Some people who are just, I kind of doubt it though if you're watching videos like this, right? If you're watching videos like this, you're not really gonna be falling in this category. But there's some people who just sort of seem content with their normal life. They seem pretty happy to be like, you know, normal job, um, normal trajectory, pretty much like average in that way. And maybe that's fine. Like I think people need to, there needs to be people like that, and that's good. And if someone can get happiness from that, it's great. No no dissent, you know, that's awesome. But if you're like me and you relate to that, you know you're not really gonna go that normal path. So how do we have this desire, we have this belief that we'll do great things in the future, and we have this thing where we don't want to be this current situation that we're running away from. Then you can kind of build impulse control, I think. So it's sort of like training in a way. It's like training your mind. So when you first like, if you've ever had to struggle with like a porn addiction, which I think, I don't know, I can kind of assume most young men have had to deal with that in some regard. It's sort of like the impulse is there, and then you have to like focus your brain on something else, and like not indulge because you don't want to. You have a high motivation to not be a loser, and you know fucking do that shit because it's fucking lame, right? So it's impulse control. Now, how do we how do we get there? If you're kind of stuck in this mediocre path but you don't want to be in it, then you need to sort of like stoke the fire, like exaggerate the pain a little bit, because if you can get sad and angry and just very like frustrated about your situation, you get like that's the fuel, that's like the momentum, that's the energy you need to like start your things. So that's for like the things when you need to like get momentum and get started. But once you've once you've started the pain and you've like, or you stoke the pain and you've started a habit, you don't want to live your life in negative emotions. You want to have, positive, a positive outlook, positive like, aspirations, and like a it's called like, you believe you will get success and you're like positive about that, if that makes sense. You don't want to like live in fear or in sadness or in anger. That's the whole point. That's like the whole reason you're trying to get away from it, basically. So the way we do that is with, there's this book called Good Vibes, Good Life, which I think does a very good explanation of this. It's the laws of the universe. So the law of attraction, the law of vibration, things like that, law of assumption. The law of attraction means you basically attract the things you think about and focus on in life. So if you review your goals every day, like I have my goals like over there on my bed, like next to my bed. So I wake up and I just like read my goals out loud, just like read everything. And then that will be attracted to you eventually. Law of vibration is what your vibration is, like how, not to get too spiritual, but like I used to think this whole spiritual shit was like complete mumbo jumbo. I was like, my mom like did yoga and talked about chakras, and I was like, what the fuck is this? But this whole like, if you haven't like been enlightened in this way, the laws of the universe, you have to know them. That shit is like mandatory, because it explains so much. And I would just say, if you're like super sure that it's completely like bollocks, take a second opinion. Just take a moment to like think about it. Maybe there's something I'm missing about it. Just think that. That's what I would have told myself before this. So even like, let's think about it logically, so I can try to like sort of prove it to you a little bit. So let's take the law of vibration, right? Which is basically saying, if you are vibrating higher and you're in like a positive state, more things will happen that will increase your positivity and keep you in a positive state. So it's like you basically attract the same vibration, you vibrate the same as the things happening around you, if that makes sense. So if you're like feeling low and you're in a low vibration, you're sad, even like practically, if you're feeling negative, you've probably noticed this before. You're feeling negative, you get like negative momentum, and more negative things start happening. Like the bad day that starts out bad, it just seems like everything keeps going bad, because it's your mindset and your vibration. You're thinking about it negatively, so you get negative things back. And you're also portraying like, let's say like girls, for example. So you want to attract like a girl into your life, right? And you're thinking negatively about it. You're thinking, oh, because it's a bad hair day, I'm not gonna be able to get girls. So that means, translating to your physical self and your body language, you're gonna have like, weak body language, insecure body language. You're gonna be like kind of more hunched over. When like a girl makes eye contact with you, you're gonna like, look away really fast, and you've blown your chances already there. So there's like there's things practically that can explain these laws. But yeah, versus if you were to, be confident and assume that you already have this girl, you already got her number, you like visualize it or whatever, you already have her number, and you're in a confident mood, your body language is more confident, you're more happy, then you have a much higher likelihood of getting that back, if that makes sense. So it can be explained in logical terms as well. So yeah, law of attraction, law of vibration, and law of assumption, which is basically kind of what I talked about. These kind of like go hand in hand a lot. So it's like, what you assume to be true is what you get. So it could be the girl example. If you assume I'm super good looking, it could be even just ignorantly, just arrogantly, if you just assume every girl's gonna want me.